All right, welcome. This is kind of the new schedule we're going to do. I feel like we've had a lot going on over the last few months, a lot of new trainings, and with Summit coming up and John Maxwell training, it's just like I feel like everybody has been overwhelmed, and I have been as well. So if I am, then you guys are too. So um, with all the calls with Team Courage and the leadership calls and everything else, I thought it would be better if we just did a once a month team call because I think it's important. It's great to be able to see your guys' faces, and I think it's just great to learn from each other as well. So I'm hoping this will still make it easy to catch up with the calls, and it won't be overwhelming. That's my main goal. I don't want anybody overwhelmed because you shouldn't be. The great thing about this business is you can work it into your life. So I want to be able to do that and not just bombard you with too much information. So we're going to be doing these calls once a month, and I really like having other coaches lead these calls because, first of all, I feel like you guys, like I sound like a broken record. So I need like fresh faces on here. And because you guys all bring something unique to the table, and I'm always learning from other coaches, even if it's, the same material, but somebody just does it a little bit differently, that may click with you. So that's really what I'm hoping that you guys will get. Like, somebody may really click with what Claudia has to say, or what Melissa has to say, or even what I have to say. So next month, to kind of go with that theme, I'm going to be teaming up our team calls with my push partner, Jamie Boyer. She's another 2-star diamond coach with Team Courage. She's a military wife, a mom. She's pregnant. She's just a really down-to-earth person. Her and I's goals and our business goals and how we want to build our team are very similar. And she's just a sweet, sweet person and has a great team of great coaches. So we're going to combine our team calls. That way we just have fresh faces in there, new ideas. And hopefully you guys can, get more out of that, because that's really what I want to bring to the table. Just being able to learn from each other, because I think that's the greatest thing about Beachbody is having a team and being able to work together and learn from each other. So that's my goal. All right, with that, because I want to keep these calls short and 30 minutes because we're all busy. So I asked Claudia to talk on our call tonight because she had posted something a couple weeks ago that I really liked because it was something different but totally addressed what we do as coaches in this business. And tonight we're going to be talking about forming, but Claudia is going to talk about forming by adding an extra U in there to kind of seal the deal and really, tie up those conversations that we're having with people. Because what we do as coaches is a lot of relationship building. I mean, that's the number one thing. We're not just selling, like I always say, we're not just selling like nail stickers. Like we really are helping people change their lives to live healthier lives. I mean, there's a lot of relationship building, a lot of conversation, a lot of really digging into people's emotions and vulnerabilities. So learning how to have conversations with people, I think, is really important with this, because you don't want to be the person, which I get these all the time now, especially like Roden and Fields. I don't know about you guys, but like it seems like everybody's a rep for Roden and Fields, and I get like tons of messages every day from people. They'll friend me and then they'll instantly send me one like, hey, I'm a Rodents and Fields rep. Like, would you be interested? I'm like, I don't even know you. So that's what we don't want to do. So we're going to talk tonight about forming relationships with people, because it really comes down to people don't care what you know until they know that you care. And, so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight is the best way to talk to people is really getting to know them and see who they are and really what makes them tick. And we actually kind of have a formula to help you do that. I am a quiet person. I'm a lot better now than I used to be, but like small talk is like my worst nightmare. Like I hate it and I'm terrible at it. But, reading personal development and learning from other coaches has really helped develop. I'm able to talk to people now and have more in-depth conversations with people. I still don't like that just surface talk, like, hey, how are you doing? A small talk. Like, I don't like that. Like, I really like to get to know a person. And forming is a great way to do that because it addresses, everything that goes on in a person's life, their family, their occupation, their recreation. And once you know that, then you can really, build a relationship with somebody. You build that trust between you two, and you're really going to have a customer and a friend for life. So, Claudia, the floor is yours.
All right. So thanks for inviting me to do this. This is definitely outside my comfort zone. It reminds me kind of like college speeches, and it's been a while. So I'm going to try and do this justice and just kind of talk about what forming is, and then something that I myself just recently learned from my husband, who was a financial advisor up until really recently. And we were just kind of talking about it, and he added a component that I think is so crucial and important to us as Beachbody coaches, and I wish that I would have known about it from the very beginning. So forming, like Kelly said, I think is just like the most important place to start. And when I first became a Beachbody coach, especially to people that I knew, I was like, I don't need this formula to talk to people. I know these people. I don't need to ask them about their family, their occupation, their recreation. I can just tell them about Beachbody because I like it and they're going to like it. And that's not the case because people don't really care about your goals for them. They want something that works for them, something that works for their lives. And you have to go through these steps to know what that is for each individual person. So I think that starting with family is a good place to start, whether you know a person, whether you don't know a person, whether it's somebody that's come to you, whether it's somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. I think that everybody likes to talk about their family, and it's just a really natural place to start. And you can think of like the form process as kind of like profiling the person, and the end goal is your message, what you think is going to be good for them, your recommendations for them. But there's so much that you can uncover from just working through the process. So family, occupation, recreation, and message is what we're all familiar with. But I think that adding the U in between the R and the M is kind of like the missing link, and it stands for understanding goals. And especially, I mean, in our business, that's our goal for these people, is to understand their goals and get them there. Whether it's they want to be a coach, whether it's they want to lose weight, whether it's they just want to feel better, they don't have time to work out. We're supposed to meet them where they are and get them to their end goal. And so adding that component is just, it's crucial, and it's really, really helpful. And I think that it's a good way to just build that relationship even further, because like Kelly said, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. So in going through the form process, I think that what's important too is to ask people open-ended questions, like who, what, when, where, why, and how questions, not, questions that are going to stop and kind of lead to a dead conversation. Like Kelly was saying, a lot of people like to build relationships, and they don't just want to talk about, superficial stuff and the weather, and, it's hard to get to the end, to have a conversation that flows when you ask questions that kind of stop. So I'll just go through some examples for each of the letters of the acronym. And just kind of, hopefully it'll help you. My husband helped me with these, and it's helped me. And I'm still working on implementing them. Obviously, I'm not perfect at this. It takes practice. It's not something that everybody is comfortable with. I know that I wasn't. I'm still not super comfortable with it, but it helps to have this kind of like an outline of just how to talk to people. And you can ask people about their family. It's not really a question, but you can say, tell me about your family. People love to talk about their kids. They like to talk about, what they're doing, what kind of sports they're involved in. And these are all things that along the process you can bank and keep for later on in your message. One thing that I had a really bad time doing in the beginning was they would say something and I would kind of latch onto it and be like, oh, you don't have a lot of time to work out. You're a busy mom with, kids, and you're running from soccer practice to picking up and dropping off, and you have all these things going on. T25 would be so perfect for you because you only have a certain amount of time to work out. And I think that it's important to see the process through to the end, because you don't know what you're going to uncover along the way. Maybe T25 would be the worst thing ever for them because they have really bad joints and they need something super low impact. And you've just only learned about that one portion, the fact that they don't have a lot of time. So I think that going through and seeing it through to the end is something that makes a lot of sense. And I think that that's another place where understanding goals comes in and plays a big part. You need to find out what's important to them, and when you're talking about their family, when you're talking about their occupation, asking them, what do you do for a living? How long have you worked there? It gets them flowing through a conversation with you. And maybe they don't like their job at all. They wish that they had more time for their family. They wish that they had, something really different than what they're doing. And then you can think in the back of your mind, maybe this would be a person that's good for coaching. Maybe there will be an opportunity later to bring that up and work it into the conversation. Maybe that can be part of my message. And these are things that you should just hold and know about this person so that you really build a relationship with them and you build rapport, they trust you, and not just asking questions to get to the next question, or with the end goal in your mind always being, okay, I'm what can I recommend to this person? Maybe it won't ever get there. Maybe you uncover certain things about them and you just realize that they're not ready. They're not ready for a program. They're not ready for a challenge. They're not ready for the coaching opportunity. Maybe that's something that's way down the line. But these things, and you can keep the relationship going with them, and you can check in with them, whether it takes days, weeks, months, whatever the process is for that person. You will find all of this out through this forming process. So, sorry, I'm kind of jumping around here.
You're doing great.
So I'll go back to, okay, so you talk about their family. It's just like a super good opener. It gets them comfortable. It gets them to trust you a little bit. And, I think that the most important thing overall, if I don't say anything else, I have to say, don't just act interested in these people's lives, in what you're asking them. Actually be interested. It's so important that they know that you genuinely do care, because people can tell the difference. When you're asking someone a question just to get to an answer, just to know for yourself, people see through that, and you might get so far with that, but it's not going to be rewarding, and it's not going to make them, want to put their time and trust into you. So back to recreation, just asking them like what they like to do for fun, where do they like to vacation, how do you like to spend your free time, what do you like to do on your weekends. All of these things are going to be really important for what you recommend for them. If this is a really active person, if this is a person that, just kind of sits around, likes to chill out, like, you're going to take all of these things into account for where you're going with the conversation. And then something that my husband was talking to me about with the understanding goals. In his situation, the M stood for money because he was a financial advisor. So their goals were a lot more specific, and they were a lot more centered towards obviously their financial future. But I think that applies to us too as Beachbody coaches, because we can get them there. And if that's a goal for them, they don't want to work their job anymore, they don't want to do what they're doing, or they want to have horses back in their lives, or they want to save for college for their kids. It's so important. You can recommend everything probably based only on the understanding goals part. Obviously, you need to build the relationship with them. You need to know about their family. You need to know their time constraints, their passions in life. But that all kind of closes in on the understanding goals part. And I think one question that really just stood out to me, and I'm going to start asking, and I have asked one or two people this since I learned about it, is what keeps you up at night, good or bad?
Ooh,
what do what is the thing? What was that?
I said I love that.
I couldn't believe that he said that, because you don't think of a financial advisor as really like, getting to know you personally. At least I never did.
That's deep. Yeah.
Maybe I should talk to my husband more about his job. But what keeps you up at night? If they say like, I can't stand being away from my kids, I want to work a job where I can be with my kids. I know that that's several people's reason why they decided to become a Beachbody coach, is because they don't want to be away from their families anymore, and they want to spend time. They want to see things as they're happening. Or, what keeps you up at night? I don't feel healthy anymore. I want to get back on track. I don't know how to do it. I need help. Or I'm just looking for something more. Like there are so many opportunities within Beachbody. In the beginning, why I started coaching was because I really wanted to teach. I got 2 certifications and I was just like, that's what I want to do. That keeps me up at night. I love fitness so much that I just want to get all these certifications and I want to have all these classes. Little did I know that when I got my 2nd certification, I was already pregnant. So that wasn't something that I could do right then. And I kind of like put it on hold. But it was a big reason why I wanted to even consider the coaching opportunity, was because I felt like this was a place where I could maybe grow that a little bit. And then it's evolved since then and become something different, and people's will too. And that's why it's important to check back in with people and understand their goals, where they are when you meet them, where they're going, where they want to be. Just always checking back in, always inviting them, because, when you first meet a person, if their goal is to lose a ton of weight, you can put them into your challenges. You can hook them up with a program. Say months down the line, understanding their goals is going to look a lot different than when you first met them and they were, just wanting to get out of the situation that they were in. They were just wanting to lose the weight. Maybe it'll evolve and they'll want to be a coach, or they'll, just, there are so many possibilities, so many options with that. And then, obviously your message is going to rely heavily on all of these things into consideration: their family, their occupation, their recreation, and their goals. And it's kind of like a no-brainer to add that in and then make recommendations, or like I said, not, And once you get to that point, once you get to the message part, if you feel like they're a good fit for a program, I think that you can work that a lot of different ways. I think that it's important to sell benefits to people, or, propose benefits to people, not features of a program or the coaching opportunity or whatever it is, whatever you decide after you've learned all these things about these people and, worked up a profile for them. It's gonna shape your message, and you're gonna know, because you know your products, you know what you have to offer, and you also know if maybe it's not a good fit at the time. So yeah, throughout the process, you just have to be genuine and really, like Kelly said, get to know people, get to know what they want, who they are, what's important to them, what they're passionate about. And if you're a really introverted person like me and maybe like Kelly,
and
that can be
Melissa, all of us here are the most
and Melissa too. Okay. that can be pulled out of you. And I think that it's okay to be introverted, just as long as, when you do put your passion and your drive into something, you let yourself show, because introverted people usually have a lot to say. It's just about certain things or certain topics, and they are passionate, and you just have to take the time to uncover all these things. This form process, it can take anywhere from hours. Like maybe some people are just ready. They come to you and you can go through it quickly. I still think that no matter, you know, who it is, if it's somebody that you know, somebody that you don't know, somebody that comes to you and asks about something, you still kind of back up and start the process with family, occupation, recreation, understanding goals, huge, and then deliver your message, even if they're coming to you, because you can scare people off by exploding with everything that you know about a product or a program, or, oh my gosh, this person's coming to me. I don't, you know, I can skip over this.
Right.
It's important to never skip over that, and really just take the time, whether it takes hours, days, months, weeks, or, you know, some people probably come back in years. I haven't been doing it long enough to know that yet, but I'm sure that they do.
4 years later, they'll come back.
I bet, yeah. Or, you know, they might lull in the process. They might be really, really gung-ho at first, and then something happens and they have to back off of it, or they want to back off of it, or they don't know how to take the next step without you understanding why. And maybe that's all it takes. I know that I've talked to Kelly a few times and just been like, gosh, I can't believe you messaged me right now. I really, you know, I'm surprised. And it's just checking back in with people and knowing where they are and caring about them, because people want to be cared for and people want to be, you know, heard. And if you can do that, I think that you can build a team from it. You can build challenges with it. There's just endless opportunity once you understand how to talk to people and meet them where they are and offer them a benefit, because that's what we're supposed to do, is be there for people, whether or not we get any kind of, you know, immediate reward or long-term reward out of it. We're really just there for people. And this process, I think if you slow down and really think about it, kind of sets us up for that.
Exactly. Yeah, I think like you nailed it on the head, Claudia. And just the conversations we've had, because Claudia is not my coach. She is a downline coach of mine's coach. And, I think when you first signed on, I introduced myself like, hey, I'm Kelly. Let me know if you ever need anything.
Yeah.
And we just kind of started forming with each other and learning about each other. And, you know, I just really genuinely loved Claudia. We never talked on the phone. We talked through Facebook message. And, but I really got to know her. She got to know me. And, we've just I feel like I have a really good connection with Claudia. She makes me happy. Talking to her and seeing her posts, they just always make me smile because she adds value to my life. And I think that's the biggest thing we bring to the table as coaches, is adding value. Every day, I try to go out and add value to the people I encounter, either on Facebook or, just day to day, because I think in the world we live in now, people don't really talk to each other, or they talk on that. There's the 5 levels of communication, 1 through 5. 5 being surface, small talk. How are you doing? Yeah, that's great. And you're not really talking about anything. And then you kind of get a little more in depth, maybe sharing a feeling, or, asking questions. And then you want to be at a level 2 and 3 where you're really getting to know people, getting to know their feelings, getting to know, their vulnerabilities. And that's where we need to be as coaches, because that's, getting, living that healthy lifestyle, or, wanting to lose weight or wanting to feel better about ourselves, especially as women. We're very self-conscious, there's always something that we're not happy with. Especially for moms, we've had babies, our lives are crazy. We don't shower. We just get in a rut. We feel like we have nothing. It's hard. So, building those relationships with people and just really getting to know who they are as a person, what makes them tick, how they're feeling. And, I've, over the years, I've been doing this for 4.5 years, and, I've had people share with me some stuff that I'm really, it takes me aback because it's very private. And, but having that relationship with somebody where they want to share that with you is priceless, I think. I mean, that's bigger than any paycheck. And seeing them, actually bring that to the surface where they've never talked to anybody about it before, and having them release it, where they just feel better and they, can start to make a plan with you to, fix it is awesome. And forming is the only way to do that. And, like Claudia said, like, it's not just, you're not going to be, get to A to Z in like 10 minutes. With some people, yeah, they come to you ready to go, and they don't really need all that. But I mean, that's just something that, I'll still do. Even if I have somebody who comes to me wanting to do a challenge and they're like, I want to do 21 Day Fix, send me the link. Be like, okay, I still, as much as you want to be like, here's the link, I still want to take the time to, okay, that's great. We'll address that in a minute, but I really want to, like, where are you at? Like, how are you doing? If it's somebody I kind of know, I'm going to see how their trip was, or how their kid's doing, or how their move was, or, their husband's deployed. Like, how are they really doing? How are they coping? And really doing that, because I think that's really important, because I'll have people who've done free challenges with me and, just weren't ready to do a challenge. And, I've slowly built that relationship over the months or even years, and then have them come back a year later after I haven't really talked to them for a while and say, hey, Kelly, I'm ready. I want to do this. That's what I want. I want to have that lasting impression on somebody, where they want to come to me. And the only way to do that is to really just get to know people and talk to people and be genuine and want to build a relationship. But I think, adding that you in there, and I really love that, like, what keeps you up at night. I think that is such a huge, that's like a light bulb moment right there, because
like, good or bad too, because you have a lot of license to change things for people,
yeah.
Or what they're super passionate about. It's just,
Yeah.
it's so important. I think it like makes up a person where they are. Like I said, it
Exactly.
can change a lot, but
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because I've seen a lot of people, coaches and challengers who come in like, I just want to lose 20 pounds. And then the more you get to know them, you're like, oh, they really want to just, like, this is their insecurity, or they just want to feel better, or they, they just don't feel good enough. So they, it really changes to more than just 20 pounds. It's, I want to create a healthy lifestyle for my family, and making it bigger than just a number. And that, that's the only way to get to that is by forming and building those relationships. So yeah, I think you did a fantastic job, Claudia. I loved it.
I was like really nervous. Try to like pump the brakes there a little bit. Get a little bit nervous. But.
No, that's really good. And the other thing I wanted to say is, forming people, you don't just have to do through a message. A lot of what I do is, I always talk about, you got to have your list, and always adding to that list. And basically that list is just a focus point of those relationships you want to start building. So a great way to do it is just by, looking at people's Facebook profiles, like, and commenting on their pictures, because that's really, you get a snapshot of who those people are. And you can, see things like, oh, I have that in common with that person. Or, oh, they took a cool trip. Like, I wonder where they went. Like, I want to find out about it. You can learn so much from other people. And I think for me, that's more my mindset. What can I learn from that person? Obviously they seem to be doing something right, and I want to know what their trick is, or, I want to get their opinion on something, and kind of going in it that way is a great way too, because I think it makes the conversation flow. It makes it, more open. And again, having somebody interested in something you do, that's really flattering. So, so commenting on people's, posts is an easy way to do that. And you don't have to make in-depth, paragraphs and conversation, just showing up in people's lives is super easy. And then as that relationship grows, then you can push it into a personal message, or, invite them to a challenge and get that dialogue going too. So yeah, it doesn't just have to be through a personal message. I think like the basis of forming is just commenting on people's posts and showing up in their life, because then your profile on Facebook, your newsfeed is going to show up in theirs. So you're going to start building that connection, and Facebook is an easy way to do it because everybody's on it.
Yeah.
So. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to share, Claudia? I think you nailed everything.
I don't think so. Thank you, Kelly, for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
No, I'm really glad you got to do this, because I think you are a very genuine person, and I think it really shows. I mean, every conversation I've had with you, I feel like it's this, I just want to hug you, and
like we're best friends from
right.
afar.
Right. Really,
no, I feel the same way. You've changed so much for me in this business, and you've shown me this process. You've been the example of it. So, I mean, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No, but I mean, that's why I love coaching is to have this opportunity to work with people I love to work with, that makes me happy. Talking with each one of you makes me happy. It makes my day. If I'm having a bad day, plugging into my team page makes me happy. So it's gotten me through deployments and debts and everything else. So yeah, I mean, that's what we got to do, is just be that for people. So, all right. Yeah, so I hope you guys had some great takeaways from this call. Yeah, I mean, Claudia just really did a fantastic job tonight. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy day. If you don't know, Claudia had a baby 6 weeks ago. And she decided about that time that she's I'm really going to do this business. I'm doing a day, yeah. But I really I'm ready to kick it up a notch. I'm okay, good timing.
Gotta jump in.
Right, exactly. Hey, whenever it clicks.
Yep.
All right, guys, have a wonderful night.